Thanks everybody for checking us out here on the WrestleKave, your #1 place for WWE news and Mattel and action figure news and fun. This time we're bringing you a WrestleKave exclusive. We call it the Raw Relapse, where we come every Monday night and we give our opinions about what happened on Monday Night Raw and we tell you guys where exactly we think the WWE can improve and where exactly they're heading. So let's go ahead. First of all, let me just shine to you those handicap tag team championships of the world. Super J and Mad Mike, we worked really hard for these, and finally we brought them back home to the WrestleKave, exclusively here on the WrestleKave. Anyway, let's go ahead and get on to the August 8th edition of Monday Night Raw. I don't think it was really a great show this evening. To be honest with you, I thought it was kind of terrible. Left me kind of speechless at the end of the evening. It's supposed to be the new era. This is the third show of the new era, and when they, basically went 100 miles an hour, basically from the start line 3 weeks ago on the first edition of the new era on Raw. And then here we are 2 weeks later, and we weren't given a great show at all. We had such great wrestlers like Kevin Owens, Big Cass, we had Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn. All did not compete. They did not wrestle on TV this evening, which was kind of disappointing. And the matches that we did see weren't really great. I thought the Cesaro and Rusev matchup at the end of the night was very good. That might have saved the evening. We'll talk about that later here in the video, but let's start it out. At the beginning of the show, they had Enzo and Big Cass come out and talk on the mic like only they can. And Chris Jericho did come out right after that. Chris Jericho said that he had backup to go ahead and fight Enzo and Big Cass, and Kevin Owens came out. Kevin Owens said that Jericho is his guy. Jericho said it's because they're Canadians, and Kevin Owens has got Jericho's back no matter what he does, when or where. So we did get a matchup for SummerSlam. The tag team matchup is going to be Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho against Enzo and Big Cass, a tag team matchup at SummerSlam. At the beginning of the night, after the promo to start up Raw, we had Enzo fight Chris Jericho in a one-on-one match. It was a good matchup, but Chris Jericho did win with the code breaker. Kevin Owens got a little bit of a distraction and helped him win, but Chris Jericho did win with the code breaker. A little bit disappointed that Kevin Owens is getting put in a tag team matchup at SummerSlam. Enzo and Big Cass are getting a real big push here in the WWE on the Raw brand, but I think they should be in tag team matchups against other tag teams where they can showcase their skills, guys that they're familiar with working with. Guys that are tag teams and have been together for some time. But we just have two guys put together for a tag team match at SummerSlam, Owens and Jericho, that haven't been tag team ever before. So later in the show, we did find out that we had Titus O'Neil and also Darren Young wrestle once again. Last week, Titus O'Neil did get the victory with a roll-up and he pulled the tights. It was the opposite today. Darren Young did get the victory on Titus O'Neil with pulling over the tights. But just another fill-in match here this evening. In the first hour of Raw, we did have another Braun Strowman squash match. And I'm starting to like Braun Strowman a little bit. I mean, he's, one big-ass, basically lumberjack that you might have seen, like a big Paul Bunyan type character a couple hundred years ago. But, he can kick ass. He can move around that ring pretty fast. I'm curious to see what else he can do. They've got him use a reverse chokeslam for his finishing move right now. He did beat another nobody, a local guy there in Anaheim, California. He wasn't as little as the previous guys in the previous weeks, but just a nobody that Braun Strowman destroyed in about 30 seconds. He did a clothesline from hell there that it looked like, and he basically turned this guy inside out, man. The guy did a backward 360 in that fucking ring, and Braun Strowman laid him out, and then hit him with that reverse chokeslam and got the victory. We did find out that Big E was still hurting from his groin injury they're talking about last week, when Gallows and Anderson did take Big E and basically just take his midsection, his family jewels, so to speak, and basically took him right into the ring post. And Big E's got some groin injury. I read on the internet that Big E was carried out on a stretcher last Monday night. So our wishes with Big E. We hope he gets well soon. Curious to see what's going to happen. We did find out there's a tag team title match that was added to SummerSlam earlier on WWE.com on Monday. We found out Gallows and Anderson will be facing off against the New Day, and it looks like Xavier and Kofi are going to be the only two members of New Day at SummerSlam. So the tag team titles are up for grabs. Big E and along with Kofi and Xavier, they did win the tag team titles at last year's SummerSlam. So as far as I know, this is the first time that a tag team has won a tag team title at a SummerSlam, and then the following year been there to defend it and haven't lost it in the entire year. You know, they're the longest WWE tag team champions of the world right now, which is pretty great. Rusev, another guy that I'm very big fan of, was on there tonight. They had basically Rusev and Lana. They wanted to basically give you them renewing their vows with each other. They had a couple wedding cakes out there in the ring, and Rusev came out all dressed up. Lana was in a beautiful white dress, and then Roman Reigns came out. He went ahead then and said that Rusev, he didn't see, had a best man out there to celebrate the festivities here, renewing the vows. So Roman Reigns wanted to be his best man, and Rusev and Roman started to argue a little bit. Roman said he was going to make a toast. He poured some champagne. Next thing you know, Rusev attacked him. We did find out right after that Lana would be just tearing up that beautiful white wedding dress that she had, just getting it covered in red and white icing because Roman basically threw Rusev into Lana, and Lana fell right into the wedding cake. It was pretty funny. But Rusev and Roman Reigns are going to be going one-on-one at SummerSlam in a United States title match. Roman Reigns has sure been in the doghouse, so to speak, on the WWE TV lately, ever since he came back from his failed drug test. And he looks like he's getting stepped out a notch. He's going to be fighting for the U.S. title, but he's going to be fighting against Rusev, which should be a great matchup. I mean, Rusev, the Bulgarian brute, he can kick some ass, man. You know, he's a John Belushi lookalike, man. Looks like a Russian John Belushi on steroids. So, very excited to see this match at SummerSlam. Rusev and Roman Reigns on a pay-per-view like SummerSlam. Both guys are going to be putting on a good match. Should be a good, powerful matchup. Next, that we had nice promo with Gallows and Anderson, where they basically had doctor's coats on, and they basically went ahead and we're talking about Big E and how he's needed surgery, and they had a couple eggs there in a jar, and they said they were Big E's, and that they were going to be coming after the rest of the New Day, Xavier and Kofi. Luke Gallows did end up fighting Kofi Kingston in a one-on-one matchup. Not the best way to use these two tag teams heading into SummerSlam. I thought, you know, Gallows and Anderson, you know, they're big-time contenders, the #1 contenders right now on the Raw brand for the tag team titles. And heading into SummerSlam, I want to see Gallows and Anderson in some tag team matches where they are showcasing their skills, where they're, you know, improving their in-ring work, you know, and we really didn't see that. All we saw was a one-on-one match with Gallows and with Luke Gallows with Anderson at ringside against Kofi with Xavier at ringside. Luke Gallows won after about a minute when he lifted him up above his shoulders and threw him down in some like pancake-like suplex maneuver that I really haven't seen too many times. But it was another 1-minute matchup. Wasn't anything spectacular. I think it will be a good tag team title match at SummerSlam, and I think Gallows and Anderson, they're going to come out on top. We did also have Sheamus and Cesaro for the second week in a row on Monday Night Raw fight one another. You know, Cesaro, man, he's a great, you know, in-ring worker, a great wrestler. He just came back from injury just, you know, within a month and a half ago. Got the great new look, looking like the Hitman back from the Hitman video game and movie that they did a couple of years ago. And Cesaro ended up fighting Sheamus again. You know, Sheamus, former world champion, they really can't find anything to do with him other than have him in, you know, decent matches on Raw, on Monday Night Raw. But, you know, basically no storyline going on or anything like that. Just a decent match between Cesaro and Sheamus. Cesaro ended up getting the victory when he rolled him up with a backwards roll-up, and then ended up getting the victory on Sheamus. Later in the evening, we had Mick Foley and also Daniel Bryan. Mick Foley invited Daniel Bryan to Monday Night Raw, and we found out when he called him in at the end of the night into the ring, we found out that Mick Foley wasn't happy with some of the things that Daniel Bryan's been saying about the Raw brand. And one of the things that Daniel Bryan said was that, you know, Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon, they don't necessarily have a tag team division on SmackDown, but they want to create their own titles, but they're not going to be in a hurry like Monday Night Raw did when they didn't have a champ for one day and then they announced their Universal Champion. And Daniel Bryan made a joke saying that they were going to call the new SmackDown titles the Milky Way Tag Team Champions, you know, and poking fun at Monday Night Raw on Talking Smack, which is a half-an-hour show on the WWE Network right after SmackDown on Tuesday nights, and where they just had interviews with some of the wrestlers that performed in the evening, and then the general manager, Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan said those comments last week about Monday Night Raw. So Mick Foley brought him in. He went straight to the point. He didn't like the comments that he made. Next thing you know, Rusev ended up coming out saying that the only champion that Monday Night Raw needs is Rusev. And he could squash that bug, Daniel Bryan, from SmackDown. And next thing you know, Cesaro came out. Cesaro said that last week after beating Sheamus, he said, Mick Foley did say, the general manager of Raw said that whoever won the matchup last week between Sheamus and Cesaro would get a future title match. And Cesaro came out today during that promo with Rusev and also Mick Foley and Daniel Bryan. And Cesaro talked Mick Foley into giving him a United States title match to end the evening. It ended up being the main event. It was a great match. I thought maybe Cesaro might get the victory, you know, and maybe they'd make it a triple threat at SummerSlam for the U.S. belt with Reigns and Rusev. And, you know, it was a good 15-minute match. And then they ended it abruptly. They did have, well, I'm trying to forget what exactly happened here. Rusev ended up getting the victory after Sheamus ended up coming out and attacking Cesaro, and then Rusev ended up getting the victory, a cheap victory at the end. Rusev looked pretty strong though as United States Champion to end the show, and then right when Rusev was celebrating to end the show, he's walking back up the ramp, and Roman Reigns' music hits, and he comes out and gives him a spear, and it was a good one. Laid Rusev right on his ass. But we did get a couple promos, like I said, Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. They didn't end up fighting this evening, but we did end up getting promos from both guys. Seth Rollins had a promo in the ring where he talked about he was the best. Finn Balor's nothing but a wannabe, and Seth Rollins is going to walk out of there as the first Universal WWE Champion at SummerSlam. And later in the evening, Finn Balor had a wicked promo. He wasn't in the arena for the promo, wasn't in the ring. He basically explained his name, you know, the meaning of Finn and the meaning of Balor throughout these, you know, myths back in Europe, back from where he's at in Ireland. And pretty cool. I didn't know some of the meanings of the name Finn Balor, but that was pretty cool. And Finn Balor said that he's bringing the Demon King to SummerSlam. And if anybody's not familiar with it, watch some old NXT matches of Finn Balor on the NXT pay-per-views. He brought out a guy, a character, an alter ego of Finn Balor's, and it's the Demon. And he comes out in red, black paint. You've got to see it to believe it. Great music, fog, lights going crazy, just really great. It should be a great matchup at SummerSlam. I mean, first time a WWE title has been created in more than 20 years. I mean, you know, especially a world title. It's been 30 years or more. I mean, I'm just really excited to see it. Finn Balor, you know, a guy that's been known all around the world, made his name in Japan and on other continents fighting guys and becoming champion. And then you have Seth Rollins, the first NXT champion. You know, the guy that cashed in his Money in the Bank at WrestleMania for the first time ever that anybody did that, when he beat Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar for the WWE title at WWE World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania 31 in the main event. I mean, Seth Rollins would be the guy I would go to become the new champion to represent your Raw brand, but Mad Mike thinks that the way to go is Finn Balor. You know, he says if you want to go forward, you got to go with Finn Balor. If you want to go backwards, you're going to go with Seth Rollins. But I think Seth Rollins is the best WWE has, him and AJ Styles, so I think those should be your champs going forward. And hopefully eventually, you know, AJ can go ahead and win his title over on SmackDown. But I think Seth Rollins is the guy. The only way I see Finn Balor winning at SummerSlam and becoming the first Universal Champion is if Gallows and Anderson were to win the tag team titles and then to form the heel stable, you know, the club with Finn Balor as their leader and the new Universal Champion. Over in Japan, Gallows and Anderson and Finn Balor was one of the founding members of the Bullet Club over there in Japan that wrestled in New Japan Pro Wrestling and also around the world and made their names. It'd be pretty cool for all three guys to stand over SummerSlam with the Universal title around Finn Balor's waist, and then Gallows and Anderson taking away the tag team titles from the longest reigning WWE tag team champions ever, the New Day. It's going to be a great SummerSlam. Please check out our SmackDown Live Hangover review. That's going to be up Tuesday night after SmackDown. Tell us what you think of the review. Tell us who you think did the best of this evening here on Monday Night Raw. Tell us who you think had the best match. Tell us what match you're looking forward to on SummerSlam. And check out more fucking videos. Hit that subscribe button. Your handicap tag team champions of the world. Super J and Mad Mike, WrestleKave, your #1 place for WWE and Mattel fun. Peace out.